Coming up on Tech News today, we take a look at our predictions for 2012 and how well we did. Find out which of the four of us is Nostradamus. And really good at predicting, too. All that and more coming up.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Friday, December 28th, 2012. Tech News Today is brought to you by viewers like you, because if you didn't watch, we wouldn't be able to sell ads anytime, and we wouldn't have a show. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Maya Zacco.
And I'm Jason Howell.
And this is the show where we keep you up to date on the most important stories from last year, at least this time. It's our predictions results show. This started back at Buzz Out Loud when we would do a prediction show in our special episodes, and I was always frustrated with people who made predictions, but they never went back to check, not just to see if they were wrong, but to see if they were right. So we started doing a show every year. I've carried it over at Tech News Today. So Jason, Ayaz, Sarah, and I, we're gonna go over our predictions results. Have you guys sneaked a peek? Do you know how you did?
I took a look. Not so good.
I actually have not looked.
I think this may be one of my worst showings ever.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, don't
And
say
now, Tom,
that.
you know.
Spin it.
Now you know why nobody revisits their predictions. Because, most of the time they don't come true, right?
Usually I go about 50-50.
Yeah.
Good years I've been a little better. This year I
51%?
got some right.
So that's
Is my spin.
There you go.
Yeah.
But you also made like 50,000 predictions. So that's a smart idea.
It was an impressive
did make
year
a
for
lot.
things that turned out to be true.
Right. Right you are. Let's see how Jason Howell did. Let's start
great.
with you. Jason, any you want to tout?
Let's see here. Well, I'll just start at the top because I can't remember if I even got one right. Touchscreen iMac did not happen. I feel like a year ago that was kind of a little bit of the buzz around, like, oh, are they going to come out with it? And I bought into it, but apparently there is no touchscreen iMac. Release of Android limited to one major. That's the important point here. Major revision a year. And I think I kind of got that. I
No,
don't
you
know
absolutely got that right. Google has basically said we're gonna we're gonna do Jelly Bean, and then next year we'll do Key Lime Pie.
Yeah, I mean there were two releases this year. There was Jelly Bean, and then there was a revision to Jelly Bean, and I think that kind of falls in line with what my prediction really was.
No, your prediction was like there might be point releases within
Right.
the year too. I mean, you actually called it. I think you nailed it because this seems obvious to me now. Of course they're gonna do one a year. I'm waiting for Key Lime Pie at Google I/O next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Yay, got one. Google will begin to wage patent wars using Motorola patents. Google will have offered up the portfolio to others and sued people directly or companies directly. Not so much.
No,
Yeah.
they really haven't done much.
Not a lot of war
actually,
waging quite yet.
with the Motorola patents.
Yeah.
They've been partnering up a little bit, going to bat for people, but they haven't been directly involved.
Yeah, exactly. 2012 will not be the year for NFC.
Softball.
Yeah.
Got it. It was not the year of NFC.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, it wasn't as if NFC died.
No.
It just didn't.
It didn't really.
It didn't gain
It
traction.
didn't become a major
Yeah.
kind of selling point
Yeah.
of any device.
Right.
What do you
along
mean?
the
It's
way.
featured in those Samsung ads, right? They keep tapping videos and things.
But it's not exciting. It's not excitement
not
building. It's
exciting.
not something that everybody walking out on
That's
the
not a
street goes,
prediction.
I need to get that because it has NFC. And I think that's kind of where I was going with that. So I guess I got that one. Voice recognition increases significantly in 2012. Depends on how you parse that one.
You were saying that was going to be the wave, that everything was going to have voice recognition. Everybody was going to be using it. Siri would be like leading the charge.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of almost the opposite way. Like I forget that phones
Yeah.
have voice recognition.
Yeah, but what about something like Google Now? For
That's exactly
example?
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Google Now
I
kind
don't
of
see
came
people
along.
walking around talking to.
Well,
their
because they
phones
know
all the-
better, Tom.
I think that's
They'll
what we
seem
thought was gonna
silly.
happen.
Yeah.
But the ads even focus on that. The Nexus 7 ads are always Google and ask a question. I mean, that's the big
But
push on
do you
this.
see people doing it?
Well, I do it.
I do it. But yes,
So 2 out of 4.
you're right. Not everybody's talking to their phone like this
Yeah, well-
in order to navigate it or
Public.
whatever. That one I think is kind of midway. It could go, I think, either way. But I'm not really quite sure if everything in the world is voice recognition based anymore, right now. Windows 8 will be seen as the Vista to Windows 7 adoption will be low. What do you think on that one?
I think Vista would be a cruel way to.
Yeah.
You were
With this.
pretty down on it, and I don't think it's gone as low as you thought.
Right.
But
Adoption hasn't been super high. It's also kind of early.
that
early
part of your
stages.
prediction is right.
Right.
The seeing it as Vista, it
Yeah.
hasn't been seen as
I
as
don't
being
think so
that
either.
much of a
But
disappointment.
I do think that, the adoption is kind of low.
So we'll give you 50% credit.
Okay, great. All right. Cool. Well, that's better than nothing. HTML5 domination becomes clear. Flash on its way out. Flash definitely kind of bowed out even further than they had before.
I think you called that one because you made it clear in your prediction that you didn't think Flash would die, but that by the end of this year we wouldn't really be thinking about Flash anymore.
It wouldn't be as much of an issue. Definitely in mobile. They've transitioned their way out of mobile, transitioned themselves out of mobile.
Although, in the case of something like the Facebook mobile
Exactly.
app, they transitioned themselves out of HTML5.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
Not to Flash. So
no,
Right.
but not necessarily
But yeah,
HTML5 being always the answer.
No, that's a good point. And my last prediction, competitors to the iPad will have a better success rate and an iPad share will decline.
nailed that one.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that one.
This was
Well done.
definitely the year for alternative tablets.
Good job.
Absolutely.
You did pretty well.
I guess
actually.
so.
You
I'll
did
have to-
over 50% for sure.
Nice.
Better than coin
you got
flip.
a D. Congratulations.
Hey, aren't we grading on a curve here? I have to
think
wait
we
and see
should.
how you all do.
So Ayaz, how'd you do?
I'll tout a couple. 8-inch iPad. I think
7.9, we'll give you that.
Okay, thank
it's
you.
8.
I said that Medfield will not take off in phones. That's Intel's mobile processor. Now they do have one phone, but it doesn't take off. So I think that's technically accurate.
I call that right.
My colossal failure of Windows Phone will hit 15% market share. I will call a completely colossal failure because I think it's 4%. And let's see. What's another one?
You're currently 2.6% at the end of Q3, but
Amazon's larger tablet will come out. That was another one that I
Yeah,
actually
you
got
got that one right.
So I got 3 out of whatever I have here, like a billion. Let's see. And
Larger.
yeah, the 10-inch.
because there was already a fire,
gosh.
but there's that 8.9
Right, yeah,
inch
yeah.
one that's out there.
Yeah.
But
almost
let's see.
forgotten about it.
I have got a bunch of them wrong though. Let's see. Dell will buy RIM. Didn't happen. I still think it should happen. Netflix gets a real competitor. Now I think that's arguable. I don't know if they have
well,
one.
you said probably it's Amazon. So yeah, this is a
Did
kind of
Prime
a
Instant not exist then?
up for It existed, but
did.
it had just launched, so it had no catalog and it had no market share. It still doesn't have market share. It has a much bigger catalog, and I do think it's a competitor to.
And there is that-
But a lot of things are Netflix competitors.
The real competitor, I think.
I
is
think
the,
at the
know,
end of
but-
last year, though, we really felt like, oh, well, there's this Amazon Prime thing, but nobody's doing what Netflix is doing. And now there's Redbox Instant, and Hulu is. I think people talk about Hulu more as a competitor to Netflix as Netflix has shifted into more television.
Well, and
shows.
Netflix did a lot of the damage itself.
Yeah.
Netflix gave people a reason to look at competitors just by its own doing.
Oh, I guess I got this one right. Google will keep Motorola as an independent arm.
Yeah,
They've been
nailed
keeping
that
that
one.
firewall up for the longest time.
Yep.
Let's see. Google will mash together Android and Chrome OS. I was figuring they got these 2 operating systems. Maybe they'll make it into one. Chrome is on Android now, but it's not the OS.
Yeah,
so technically wrong.
Did not happen.
Absolutely wrong. Nobody will sue for patents anymore, cross-licensing agreements. Now, we did see a bunch of cross-licensing
We
agreements.
saw a decline. I'd give you half credit on
Yeah,
that.
but
it wasn't
it was a-
quite as much as you were hoping
It
for.
was an intentionally crazy one of nobody will sue because we'd just been beaten to death all of last year with patent wars, and then it kept happening.
Man, and then a new precedent was set for being beaten to death by patent wars when this year came along, right?
Net neutrality will be a big issue because of data caps. I don't think we saw that this year.
No. In fact, data caps became a bigger issue than net neutrality, really, it seems like.
Well, I mean, yeah, it took over that issue.
Yeah, nobody talks about net neutrality as the big issue that we need to fight. Yeah.
That's right. Last year, I have this prediction: Ultrabooks won't fail because Tom, you were pretty down on the idea of Ultrabooks even succeeding at all or existing. They're still around, so I guess won't fail is pretty broad
Yeah.
because everyone's still making
Again, a
them.
softball.
Surprised we didn't pressure you a little more on that.
Windows 8 won't be seen as Vista. It's still, I think, too early
Yeah,
to say.
no, I think you're right on
Yeah.
that. It's not seen as
I'd agree.
Vista.
No, I don't. I mean, do you think that it will be seen as Vista next year? I don't think anyone's ever going to call it the
Yeah.
Vista of 2012.
In fact, there was more talk about it being the Vista to Windows 7 before it launched than there has been since. Now people are like, well, I guess it's really more the 98 to Windows 7's 95 because, it's not changing things as much as people thought it was.
55-inch iMacs did not happen.
I wish you would have been right on that one.
I thought they were making them
That
bigger
would've
and
been
bigger. They just
amazing.
didn't do it. They made them thinner though, so thanks for that. Get thinner this way. Just make them larger. So
55-inch IMAX? What were you thinking?
I was thinking they just keep making them bigger. They have 30-inch. They have 30-inch
Well, yeah,
cinema displays.
it was
Why not
ju-
just pump them up a little bit?
We were talking about Apple
Then you have a
TVs,
TV.
Yeah,
and you were thinking they wouldn't make a TV,
They
but
just
they'd
call
do
it an
that
IMAX.
instead.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's really that different. But it's pretty much all of them, except what I say. That I didn't even know this one happened. MacBooks would be over. MacBook Air replaced it. But that was already true.
That was one that we were like,
was like-
actually, that already happened.
like I completely
during
missed
the
it.
show.
Well, that's pretty much it.
All right, Sarah Lane, how'd you do?
Well, pretty well, Tom. One of the first things that I predicted, and definitely became true, was I said 2012 will be a slam dunk of a year. And boy,
Well
was it.
done.
Wow.
Was it
It was-
ever.
it wasn't a
Double
layup,
credit
you sure?
for that one.
It was a slam
It
dunk.
wasn't a layup. Okay, got
Oh,
it.
yeah. And it isn't even very tall. So, I mean, it's
And
pretty
it had
impressive.
it had its tongue hanging out of its mouth on that slam dunk. It was like
2012 has vertical.
It
Yeah,
won
it's
the
kind of
slam
amazing.
dunk championships, in
Yeah.
fact. I predicted we will not see the Apple TV in 2012. I think that's
Absolutely
universally very
I don't
true.
know. There's
I have
still
one.
4 days.
Oh.
The 3
Not-
days. No,
Not
it's
going to happen. No Apple TV in 2012. I think that was pretty safe
All
prediction.
my predictions for next year will be this won't happen. This won't happen.
Yeah.
Those are they're so much safer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Google
really
will not
are.
buy Microsoft.
Yeah.
As far as the Apple predictions go, I also predicted that it's funny because a year ago we didn't even have our iPad 3rd gen, which was the new iPad back in March. I said the iPad 3 will have a Retina display and better cameras on both sides. I was right about that.
Nicely done.
Thank you very much. I said the iPhone 5 will have LTE.
Yeah.
And Verizon customers will be the happiest. So I am a Verizon customer. I have the iPhone 5, and it's hard for me to say if I would be less happy.
I'll give you that one myself because I switched from AT&T
Yeah.
iPhone 4 to Verizon iPhone 5, and I'm much happier.
You're a lot happier.
A lot happier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that I made this prediction based on coverage and the fact that, I mean, at least in the metropolitan area that I live in, Verizon just has a lot better coverage. Although AT&T LTE has been pretty great because I've got that on my iPad. But anyway, okay. So Verizon customers
fact-
in general pretty happy with LTE.
Eileen, my wife, still has AT&T on her, and she swatched phone around all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether she's using her Galaxy Nexus or her iPhone. She's always much more often saying, I don't have signal, and I do. There was one time recently where she had signal and I didn't. She's like, aha, finally.
Right.
But yeah, that's
But that was an exception to the rule. All right, so congratulations to Verizon customers who have the iPhone 5. I also said, and this was just, I said it because I wanted it to be true, that iTunes will become just about music, so that movies and apps and all that other stuff would be rebranded and taken out so that iTunes would truly be about tunes. That didn't happen. I mean, we got a podcast app for iOS. So you could argue that there's a little bit of a shift of Apple compartmentalizing things a little bit more, but not in the way that I'd hoped. I still just think it's really stupid that.
They had a big revision to iTunes. It just wasn't this.
But
yeah.
it's still called iTunes, and
Yeah.
it still has a bunch of stuff in there that have nothing to do with tunes. I want it to be more literal, and it's not. So that didn't happen, sadly. I said Google Plus will peter out, will become overrun by spam and marketing. I don't think that's true at all.
No, it hasn't.
I think it's petered out with me. I am not using Google Plus on a regular basis, and I'm sure that that's true for some folks out there. But I was just I actually just fired it up yesterday because I don't know, I was just doing some research, and it's certainly not a ghost town at all. It's a very active community, and people are in there. So that's certainly not true. It has not petered out, and I don't think that spam and marketing is any more of an issue on Google Plus than it is anywhere else. In fact, less so. I said T-Mobile was going to get the iPhone 5. I was so close.
They announced a
You're
deal.
just early.
I'm
It's
just
gonna
early.
Get it next year.
I'm
Yeah.
an early adopter.
Does that count?
No.
Because they're getting it.
No.
No, because you can't actually get an iPhone 5 and have a T-Mobile account. So I don't think it
It
counts.
doesn't say T-Mobile customers. It says T-Mobile gets iPhone 5.
Well,
The,
but
the
they've
way
only
she
announced
said
that
it,
they
she's
will.
like, T-Mobile will get iPhone 5
Okay.
next year.
Maybe what she meant was gets, like as in understands the iPhone 5. I get the iPhone 5. In which case, I think
they
T-Mobile
got it.
totally got it.
Yeah.
So okay, too early, too late. I said Sony and Nintendo will kind of get on board with iOS.
Ow. I was kind of
Absolutely
thinking
not
that was
true.
I would love to see
possible.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, Microsoft is
Yeah.
more on board with iOS than certainly Sony or Nintendo. It was weirdly so. So that absolutely isn't the case, and I think it's to the detriment really of both Sony and Nintendo. I said BlackBerry 10 won't happen in time. Yeah. didn't. I also said that that RIM would be acquired by Amazon and that the dual CEOs. Gosh, remember that? Remember when there were 2 CEOs?
Yeah.
They'd be out. So I got a little.
2 out of 3.
We'll give you partial credit.
Right.
You did say BlackBerry and 10 will come out in time, and because of that, RIM will have to be sold.
Yeah.
And so the first just didn't lead to the second. That's
Right,
all.
right. So yeah,
Partial credit.
Halvesies. I said Spotify will win the streaming music business and Rdio will be bought. I'm still somewhat flabbergasted that Rdio hasn't been scooped up by another company, just because Spotify has so many more users and they're competing services. In many ways, they're exactly the same, but Rdio just has a really good design. What they did pretty much is they made a lot of design updates to all of their software products. So now it just looks better with fewer users. I said Microsoft will buy Yahoo and team up with Alibaba. How could I have known what would happen with Yahoo this year?
Yeah, seriously,
I mean, nobody can predict that.
How come not one of us predicted that Melissa Mayer would move over to Yahoo?
Or Marissa Mayer.
Or Marissa Mayer,
Either
sorry.
one.
Neither one of them.
I would have been wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that was a curveball if I've ever seen one, and that's it. So I got some wins and some losses. Let's call it a
Are we
draw.
going to give her credit for saying 2012 will be a slam dunk?
Sure,
figure?
why not?
All right. I see that you.
4.5 out of 11.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
I'll take
disputing.
this
I
for
just-
4.66 because I think you got 2 out of 3 on the BlackBerry thing.
Yeah, it's hard to know how to count that. I say give it. Why not?
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
you-
putting a
tis the season.
slash on those, which is like a half point.
It's like
You see
strike.
there,
I get
as
it.
opposed to a
Spare.
X.
That's 9.
All right. How did I do? Well, I made 100,000 predictions. I said cable TV will have its Napster moment. And I was really vague, saying that I was just thinking it was going to be the year where cable TV gets disrupted. It sort of has with Aereo, but I don't think to the extent that I was expecting. So I'm not gonna give that to myself. I said we will see the Apple TV in 2012 at WWDC in June, and it would be a platform for developers. And I was 100% wrong again. Second year in a row predicting an Apple TV.
You keep doing it, man. You might make it.
I did this with Android
Yeah.
will pass up
Right.
iOS until I finally got it right. Multiple new TV services will launch online. Yeah, I think we've sort of seen that in the way that I expected, which is lots of other people are coming up with services for you to get television shows. Redbox, and so this is kind of similar to Ayaz's prediction. Android breaks off into subcategories not under Google's control. Has not happened at all. I thought we were going to see more people taking advantage of the open source nature of it.
I mean, we got a little bit of that.
Like what?
Well, like when you take, for example, what was it? The oh man, suddenly I'm blanking on the name, but it was was it the Korean company that tried to do a spin-off of the Android OS and then Google
I think
clamped
it's
down?
Alibaba, right?
Alibaba,
With
yeah,
Alium.
Alium.
And then they got
There we go.
crushed.
Right,
Yeah.
they got
changed
crushed. I mean,
their
that's
service.
one
The
example.
opposite of what I predicted, which
Yeah,
was that
well.
these would take off and there would be more
I guess,
than one.
yeah,
of
you're
them.
right.
So,
You're
yeah.
right.
Hunter, thanks for trying.
Never mind. I'm pulling for you.
Chrome OS will be killed. They didn't kill it.
They revised it actually with a windowed interface.
There'll be lots of stories about what has Google done lately. Have they lost their edge? That hasn't happened at all. It's been the opposite. Sprint, T-Mobile, and Dish would form a joint venture to provide.
Like clear.
Wow.
Weirdo.
Like way off. People will stop talking about T-Mobile altogether. Way off.
well,
They're the uncarrier.
I wouldn't say that it was at the forefront of a lot of
Yeah, but I was
technology
like-
conversations.
But we
you
were
were
talking
like,
about
that's the end
T-Mobile
of
a lot
T-Mobile.
at the end of last year because of AT&T, and I was like, yeah, that's it. They'll just be off the radar. But they're not. They're getting the
No, they're
iPhone.
still kicking.
Wireless payments will become popular, but not because of near-field communication, and that has become true. Wireless payments is booming as far as people trying to figure it out. There's all kinds of ways to do wireless payments. Square striking deals with Starbucks. This is exactly what I was hoping.
Yeah, that
was going to happen.
All kinds of there's so many Square competitors at this point. So it seems like mobile payments and wireless payments has taken off, but not because of tapping.
I thought motion
Swiping.
motion control would be the touch interface of 2012. We'd be all talking about motion control interfaces for stuff. I think this one may be a little early. I think we may be talking about more motion control stuff. There's still patents out there being filed for motion control on phones, and I think more motion control interfaces are coming to the consoles.
There was
but-
that awesome Leap Motion device that's
Yeah.
out there, I think an SDK version, which is way more accurate than the Kinect. I'm excited about that, but not out till next year.
Nintendo will come out with a phone.
Ugh.
They did not come out with a phone.
No.
Yeah.
When was it?
Wearable computing will explode. Glasses, watches, wrist devices. At least they'll be more successful than spot watches. I think that one's
Well, it's 'cause you-
proven true.
you tempered it
There's
with-
there's certainly more options than ever.
Yeah, all those Kickstarter watch things
yeah.
and the Nike Fuel type stuff.
Yeah,
that fits.
That's,
No.
I mean, Fuel Band, because I remember I was at South by Southwest when I got mine, and again, March seems like a long time ago because that's when South by Southwest happens, but it was a really big deal.
Yeah.
I wore that thing for a few months.
Yeah, no, that's and it still is, I think.
And even though Google Glass is still not available and hasn't been all year, that was not a thing at all when you made this prediction. That's kind of, along these lines as well, at least on the forefront anyway.
I think it was rumored. I don't
Was
think
it
they
rumored
had,
at that
they
point?
had acknowledged it yet. Yeah, because I think that's what I think I mentioned Google Glasses in that show. But you're right. They certainly had. Sergey hadn't gone and jumped out of his Zeppelin. Well, he didn't jump out of his Zeppelin.
Announced that people.
He didn't get people to jump out of his Zeppelin. Patent wars will peak and decline without patent reform. There will still be suits, just not as big of a deal.
It peaked this year. It had to.
That is exactly what I thought was going to happen, which is it kept going through the first half of the year. It peaked with the Samsung Apple case, and now it's starting to be less and less of a big deal.
Settling a little bit.
Yeah. Nobody will remember SOPA or PIPA. It won't pass, and then it will fizzle, and we'll move on to other attacks on our internet freedoms.
People still remember them.
Well,
They keep saying, like, it's so
yeah,
it's
literal
not
top
net
of-
me.
No, I was just curious. Like, do you mean like
say people would
was there
not
a
be
new
able to remember.
like remember when CISPA came out, everyone was like, oh, it's like SOPA because
And
that's
that's
why.
exactly what I was talking about. Is there will be other things like that.
I'd say you got this one.
but
I feel like it was such a prominent kind of part of the discussion early on, and then once it kind of went away, we created many other diversions.
During our predictions show, it was going to pass.
Yeah.
That was the thought. This is going to happen, and I was like, I don't think it's going to happen. And then I don't think they're going to try to revive it. And yeah, there's been things like CISPA that have been similar-ish, or the World, the UN meeting,
ITU.
but they haven't tried to revive SOPA and PIPA. Hard drives will start to be less essential, more like gigahertz in a processor. Capacity won't be a big deal because of cloud storage and the larger, cheaper solid-state drives.
Will start to be less essential. I mean,
Yeah, so in
guess
other words,
so.
it used to be like, I got to get the biggest hard drive I can get, and I'm saying, now it's going to be like gigahertz. You don't really pay as much attention to it. You need one in there, but
Well, I mean, with the cloud services that people have that weren't available a year ago, I mean, I think that's all related.
yeah, I think maybe a little bit early on this, but we're definitely trending that way. I said Windows 8 will be the Windows 98 to Windows 7's Windows 95. That's where I heard that. I said it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty dead on.
HTML will be threatening to overtake Flash, though Flash won't be entirely dead yet. Same.
True.
I was backing you up on that prediction.
That's hardly a prediction. HTML will be threatening Flash
Hey,
With a knife.
we allowed it a year ago.
in the library.
This one I think is like way too far out. And I even said on the show that I think it would be 5 years out. Shopping centers will look like the internet. So as stores close, they'll be replaced with internet type services that are integrated, kind of the Internet of Things sort of approach where you can pick up stuff, or Amazon might have storefronts where you can, where they have lockers and shipping locations. And that hasn't happened yet, but I kind of still think it might.
Yeah, it's coming. I mean, there are those Amazon lockers out there. And so
Yeah, they're just not in
malls yet.
Yeah, exactly. They
Yet.
haven't run everything out yet. So what did I do out of there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. You're not giving me the HTML5 one?
I don't-
Fine. 6 out of 18. That's about a third. That's about what I expected. Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think about the HTML threatening to overtake Flash?
It doesn't really change my total, frankly. 6 out of 18, 7 out of 18.
How about we give you half on that one?
6.5 out of 18.
All right. But so who did the best? It looks like Jason actually wiped the floor with us.
But I don't know. I wouldn't say wipe the floor. Okay,
I would,
yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm kicking your butt, yeah.
55.5% accuracy. Ayaz 42.8. Sarah 40.9. Me in the toilet.
36.1%.
36.
Well, I have a really good feeling that you guys are going to do the same to me on tomorrow's prediction show.
on Mondays.
On Monday's prediction
prediction
show.
show. Yes. Well, that wraps it up. You guys feel good about your?
We need to get some
I
trophies.
feel
involved.
great. I was almost half right,
Yeah.
and that is impressive.
Good job.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to come back strong. 2013.
Oh,
let me tell you.
you guys just wait.
I'm going to kill it.
I'm going to predict the future
Yeah.
verbatim.
Gonna amaze you.
We could just do our shows for the entire next year based on your predictions.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening and hanging out with us all year long. Of course, you can always find our episodes at twit.tv/TNT. We will, of course, be available to answer your emails and phone calls after the first of the year again, TNT at twit.tv and 260TNT show. I will not be around for those first 3 episodes because of my move, but I will be back on January 7th, and the show will be back on January 2nd. We'll see you then after our predictions show next Monday. Bye.